Welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 5th of November. Now this week I think the US dollar market and the US indices are at particularly interesting price points. I think the way that they play out this week, certainly the way that they close at the end of this week, could be particularly interesting and maybe as sort of a decision point as to how these trends continue over the next forthcoming weeks, possibly in towards the end of the year. So let's come and take a look at some of the markets that we're keeping an eye on in the trading room. So the first one, if we come and have a look at the US indices first of all. Now this is the Dow Jones. This is the Dow Jones futures contract. And we can see from the high time frames from the monthly chart that the market's just pulled back into a very well structured trend here, but it's just pulled back into that value area where the trend has turning points, and it's certainly had turning points over the recent sort of history going back a few years now. If we come down to the lower time frames, so slightly lower, taking a look at the weekly and the daily, things don't look quite so clear. I mean, the weekly, the market's not really in any kind of real trend structure here at this moment in time, and there's a lot of volatility that we can see. If we take a look at the daily, we can see that the daily chart here is in a downtrend at this moment in time, but the fact that the market is bounced back and closed above the 25,000 level is giving me a little bit of hope here that we might start to see some bullish action, and certainly I'll be looking for bullish action if this market can close above 25.50, and I'll be looking for longs up here towards the 26.50 if that can happen. Now the reason I might be thinking that is if we come and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Now on the 4-hour, there's been some real structure points here in this market. Around 25,500, you can see I've got a couple of levels marked in round here, and also these lower levels around 25,000, and you've got a few levels underneath that as well. Now the market's actually bounced and played out through these levels sort of pretty well, and it seems to be pretty technical. At the moment, we've got an uptrend in this market. We've got bullish convergence on the market as well. And if price can get above and break above 25,500 and close above 25,500, then I think we could see a move up to 26,000. That gives us quite a big window of opportunity here in price. Above 26,000, we've got a window up towards 26,500, and above that up to those highs. So for me, I'm looking at these opportunities as playing intraday trades in between these levels. And if the market, as I say, can continue this long trend, I'll be looking at trading this to the long side, looking for possibly 26,500 plus over the forthcoming days and weeks. If we come and have a look at the US dollar markets now, the favorite one that I like out of the bunch here, out of the US dollar basket, is the dollar Swiss. If we have a look at dollar Swiss here on the weekly chart, we can see that the significant structure point here being the parity level, we can see how strong that's been for, going back a number of years. The market's now broken through parity, and it's broken through with strong momentum. So let's come and have a look at this on the daily chart. On the daily, we can see that we've got a good structured long trend here with convergence as well, and the market's just sort of recently rejected. It's pulled back into parity, it's failed to close underneath parity, and it's rejected off it, closing above that price point. Today we've now got a break above yesterday's candle, and the market's looking particularly strong, and the trend is looking particularly strong here on the daily time frame. That sort of filters through, the good geometry on this market filters through into the lower time frames as well, as you can see here. So as long as the US dollar continues to strengthen and we have weakness there in the Swissy, I don't think there's going to be an awful lot sort of holding this market back. And I'll be certainly looking at intraday opportunities to be able to get positioned in these well-structured trends to be able to trade this market long. Now let's come and have a look at another currency pair here. This is the Aussie against the Canadian dollar. This is sort of one of the better Aussie markets, in my opinion. And the reason is that the Aussie has had a very strong week over the, or strong few weeks actually, depending upon which market you look at. And recently, these markets have pulled back into areas where they're coming back to resistance levels. The difference with Aussie CAD is that it's broken above that resistance level. For Aussie CAD, the big level here was 94,000, as you can see on the weekly chart, and the market's now punched above that, and it's even retraced and retested that level, and it's looking a little bit bullish off that level at the moment. You can see that a little bit more clearly here on the daily chart. And when you come down to the mid time frames, we've got very good trend structure. We've also got very good market geometry as well. So again, we've got support underneath price action on Aussie CAD, on this Aussie market. We've still got strength in the Aussie today, and we've got weakness in the CADI today as well. So that should facilitate this market in this direction. And as long as these trends continue with good market geometry, I'll be looking for opportunities to be able to get positioned in here and to be able to trade these markets long. So there's a few markets that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room. I certainly hope it helps, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.